you and your significant other currently facing a deployment or extended period of separation? You might be a bit anxious on how you'll cope, or you might also just be looking for a bit of encouragement. Well, sit back, grab yourself a cuppa and relax as I share with you my 7 favourite tips on surviving a deployment.
Avert my eye contact. Maybe we both got things that we didn't ask for. I'm still glad that we gave it a go. I'm glad we didn't put it on hold.
Hi, my name is Keshi. I'm an Australian Army wife and mother of 2 beautiful baby girls. And this is my cuppa. It's long black, extra strong, lukewarm, just how I've gotten used to it. Let's begin. Tip number 1, do something different every day. I know this might sound super easy, super simple, but it really helps. Breaking up your week just stops you from skipping into autopilot and making the week drag on. You know, some of my favorites are just going to the park with the girls, or going out for a cuppa with some mates, just hanging out with people, socializing, getting out of my house. We don't leave the house every day. Some days we just sit in, kick around in our jammies, binge watch Netflix, but those are intentional lazy days. And we try and have at least one of those a week, because otherwise it gets way too hectic and I get too tired, and solo parenting is hard. Yeah, it's hard, but I love my girls and it's totally worth it. So yeah, that's tip number 1. Try and do something every day. Tip number 2, plan things to look forward to. I know looking forward to hubby or wifey or whoever it might be coming home is super exciting, but it could be a long way away. So I like to plan little things to look forward to kind of break the time up, kind of like stepping stones on the way to homecoming. Some things you might like to plan. It could be going out with friends for dinner, or going to a concert, or a big family outing like the zoo, or something exciting, something that's not your usual, something you wouldn't do every week. And if you plan maybe once a month to do something big, it's a bit of a reward. You're 1 month closer, but it's also easier to look 30 days in advance than it is to look 150, 200, however long your period of separation might be. Tip number 3, have a countdown. I know at the start, when the number is super huge, like 250, 270, whatever it might be, a countdown can look overwhelming and sad and make you upset. But as the time goes on, as that number gets smaller, it starts to encourage you. It starts to excite you. You get excited, you start looking forward to when your significant other is coming home. And I found that super helpful, and it's a daily encouragement. We've got about a month until my hubby's home, and I am over the moon. I cannot wait until he's home, and to see that there's only X amount of days left is super encouraging. It's like we're nearly there. But this is also related to tip number 2. It is important to break that time down, especially at the start of the deployment when those numbers are so big. You know, don't let yourself be discouraged by the big numbers. Just know that they're not going to be big for long. Soon enough, they'll be 20 or 10 or 2. Before you know it, they'll be home and you'll be back together, and you can press delete on that countdown. Tip number 4, remember that life goes on, even when they're not home. There's no point sitting around and waiting 8 months for them to get back. You can use this time. Use this time to bond with your children. Use this time to get in shape. You might want to study or better yourself in some other way. Volunteer. Do something. Do something that's going to make you a better you. Do something that you can look back and go, I am proud of myself and what I achieved during those months of separation. eat good food in good portions, and remember to look after yourself. I personally hate cooking, and cooking for one person really sucks. So one of the ways I overcome this is by cooking in bulk. 1 or 2 nights a week, I'll cook up a big meal and I'll make enough for 8 people, like 8 portions. And it might be spaghetti bolognese one week, and then the next week I might do a curry or something different. Divide it up, portion it out, and freeze it. And that way, on days where I just don't want to cook, I just can't be bothered, or it's been a long couple of days, I can just go to the freezer, pick something out for me and the girls, defrost it, reheat it, and there we go. We've got good food on demand, and it saves a lot of money. Tip 6. Get yourself some quality friends. If you're living near your significant other's posting location, you might have things on base at the community centre. There might be groups around in your local area. Getting yourself involved in those groups is super helpful. Chatting to your neighbours, those sort of things, getting connected with people in the same situation will really help. I'm currently living in our hometown, and there's not any other army wives in town. So I don't have anyone going through the same situation as me, but there are like-minded people. My husband and I are lovers of Jesus, and we've reconnected with the church here. And I've got some great friends through the church, young mums or mums with young children, and it really helps just to know you're not alone. There's someone to have a coffee with, there's someone to catch up with, someone to have a cry to. It's super important to just surround yourself with community so that you don't feel lonely. And I know even when you are surrounded by people who love you and lift you up, there are going to be times, especially at night time, when you get home and no one's there, or you've put the kids to bed and the house is quiet, it is still, and it sucks. But to have someone around during the day will make those times of loneliness at night time just a little bit easier to bear with. Tip 7. You are allowed to cry. Your emotions are valid. Separation sucks. Solo parenting sucks. Doing uni, doing life alone is hard. Those feelings that you have inside, you're allowed to feel them. They're real. You're allowed to cry. But don't sit on it. Don't dwell on it. Dwelling on the negative will affect you. It will build resentment in you. The resentment towards your significant other and towards their job. Instead, I suggest you get it out. You cry. Cry to someone, cry alone. Talk to your significant other, talk to other people. Do whatever you need to do to get those feelings out. And once you've gotten them out, get up and get on with it. I'm not saying get over it. I'm not saying stop feeling how you feel, because it's going to come in a cycle. There's going to be days where you feel great, where you're on top of the world, where you can do it, and you're like, what? Only 4 months to go? Oh, that's nothing. And there's going to be days where you're like, a whole nother week? Why? And that's real. That's just the reality of it. But you can't dwell. You've got to get up. There's things to be done. People out there need you, whether it's your kids, your friends, your neighbors. You're important to somebody, and if you don't feel important to anyone around you, you're important to your significant other, and they would feel really shitty knowing that you've sat around for 8 months crying. So if for no one else, do it for them. I hope you enjoyed my 7 tips on surviving a deployment. If there's any tips that stood out to you, or if there's another tip you'd like to add, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Also, if there's any other topics you'd like me to talk on, or if you've got any questions, drop them down below. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another Cuppa with Keshi.